Thank you for listening to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. This is Real Sports Talk for the real sports fan, and I definitely appreciate all you real sports fans who are listening right now. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you. Please do me a huge favor. Go to the ratings and review page and leave this podcast a 5-star rating. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That 5-star rating and review will definitely be appreciated. If you leave a review, you will be shouted out on the show. Like my man Tiras Ray, the guest today, he left a review a few weeks ago. I gave him a shout out on the episode. So please do that. If you're listening on any other platform like Spotify or Google, Audible, please share it from that platform and let your friends and family know that you enjoyed the show so they can enjoy it as well. And I have a very big show today. We want to count down the top 5 NFL first rounds of all time. So NFL draft is coming up, and I wanted to look specifically at the first round of draft because NFL draft, you can do all around. You can be stuck here all day. So I wanted to do the first rounds and look at exactly who was in those rounds and why those rounds were so just major and legendary, right? So I have Tiras Ray on. He's been on the show before, but he was a part of a group ensemble when we did the all-time NBA draft. So this is his first time being a solo guest on the show. And I'm going to give him a proper introduction here in just a second. But bear with me a little bit here, Tiras. We did lose a legend this week. I started paying homage to DMX last week, right, when we found out what was going on with him and he was on life support, played some of his music on the show. So for this episode, and for a couple episodes going forward, I want to start this podcast the way DMX would start a podcast if he had one when he was alive. So we're going to start it with a prayer. So if you can, bow your heads, close your eyes. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to do what we love. Thank you for the opportunity to not only watch sports, but to engage them in a way that has given us this passion. Thank you for everything that you have given both me, Tiras, and everybody listening. Thank you for the continued blessings. Please continue to bless me in all my endeavors and bless everyone listening in all their endeavors and everyone not listening. Please help everyone get over their obstacles. Please help us in this podcasting world to lead us to success and maybe a little bit of cash along the way. But thank you so much for everything you've done for us, and please continue to do for us. We appreciate it, and we know that we would not be here without you. Amen. So now, let's see here, get you started here. My man Tiras Ray from the Say What, Say It Again podcast is on the show today. What's going on, Ty?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to have you on the show. And whenever I have a guest on for the first time, or this is your first time being solo, I like to let the audience get to know the guest so they can appreciate the guest the way I do. So please tell the people just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Tiras Ray, man. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I've been doing this podcast thing, man, for about 10 months. Buddy of mine, we used to have like these epic discussions on Facebook, who's top 5 this, who's the best of that. And one of the guys on the show, I'm not sure if it was Avery or if it was Charles McCray, but one of them, I want to say it was Avery, was like, hey, you know what? We have these crazy discussions on Facebook. Why don't we take it and record it, And I'm like, I don't know about that, bro. Like, I don't know. But, they're like, man, let's record it. So they just added us to a Facebook Messenger group, and we just went live on the whim, and it's been a thing ever since. But, since we've been doing it, I've started taking it more serious. I do a lot of the marketing for the show. Like I'm pretty sure, Damian, you see me on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, a little bit of everywhere. And then I'm going back to school because originally I went to school for mass communications and broadcasting, but I didn't graduate. I didn't graduate. I ended up taking a different job, but now I'm about to go back to school at Full Sail University and get my degree in sports broadcasting, get my bachelor's in sports broadcasting. So,
okay, welcome to the Full Sail family. I'm currently there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I definitely understand that path. I've done something very similar. When I started about 3 years ago with podcasting. I was listening to the His and Hers podcast with Jamel Hill, Michael Smith, which they ended up turning into a show and end up going to sports and everything. So I remember listening to that podcast and thinking, I could do this. Not saying that I'm as good as they are, but just saying I could do this on a high level, I believe. And I used to have these conversations when I was in the Navy. Me and my buddies would just go back and forth all day, right? Especially on slow days, all day about sports, have these crazy conversations. And then when I got out the Navy, I would find friends that I would email back and forth with. So in my first job out of the Navy, one of the friends that I was emailing back and forth with all day arguing about sports, I said, hey, man, I was literally listening to his and hers at the time when we was going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I said, man, we should start a podcast. And he was like, start a podcast? And I was like, yeah, bro, I think this will be entertaining. People will find it entertaining. We both know our stuff. He was like, all right. And we started it. And for me, I fell in love with it. He wasn't as in love with it. He liked the talking sports part, but he didn't like the rest of it that you mentioned, the marketing, the reaching out to people.
Bro, we it sounds like we like on the same thing, because my guys, they like to be there on Tuesdays and do the show.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff, they ain't, you know what I mean? No disrespect to them, but it's just not there. I guess you could say it's my passion, is what we really want to do.
Yeah.
So, you're going to take initiative and you're going to, you know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But I
definitely understand what you're going through. And like I said, no disrespect, because some people, I've had partners before on this podcast where they were great once we came in talking sports. When it came to doing the other stuff, they're too busy. Life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But for me, because of our passion, we'll make sure I put that time aside to market it, to promote, to reach out to people to have on the show, all those different things. And speaking of that, you guys have a lot of guests, man. So what is your technique as far as reaching out? Are you going out for people that's local? Like, how do you get so many guests on the show?
Well, the way I do it is, I inbox people, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I've inboxed people and they've said no a lot.
Yeah, you'll definitely get that.
Or they've said nothing. Or I got like two young ladies I've been working on that I really been trying to get on my show. Ashley Baker is one, and another one is Dominique Wilson. They used to play for NC State. Okay. I see people, man, and I just try to reach out to people, man. And then a lot of people that I've had lately. What is it? Edox Savada. He's somebody I used to work with. I used to be I was a restaurant manager for like 15 years. Okay. And that's what I did. That's the job I took instead of doing sports broadcasting or, whatever, however you want to call it. That's how I know him. And then Megan, I met her. I had her on the show. And then the little guy, Josiah, his mom actually reached out to us and was like, I got my 10-year-old son. She sent me some videos of him. He's actually pretty dope, man. Like, I've been trying to, work some stuff out with him. I know they're trying to get up with Stephen A. Smith. But the little kid, man, for 10-year-old, not even for a 10-year-old, like he's very knowledgeable. And he actually shocked us, like when he was on the show. So that's just some of the guests I've had. I also do interviews outside of sports. So I interviewed a rapper, Storm, aka Storm, Friday, I don't know, was it Good Friday? I believe I interviewed him. So, I've interviewed him. I interviewed it's a cheerleader. I can't remember her name, but I interviewed a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader for the St. Louis Rams whenever they won the Super Bowl. Okay. But now she has a foundation for Alzheimer's and different brain diseases with Michael J. Fox, and she also helps with the Muhammad Ali Foundation. So it's just,
that's awesome.
I'm all over the place, man. You know what I mean? Anybody that has good content that I feel I reach out to people on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, any platform I can really reach out to them. It doesn't have to always be sports, if it's mental health, if it's, you know what I mean? So, and shout out to Kelsey Mira and Shannon Nicole. Michelle, I'm sorry. For the Wake Up Serve and Hoop Repeat t-shirt, man. I try to support as many people as I can when it comes to merch. Anytime I'm on anybody's platform, on my own platform, I try to make sure that I wear somebody else's merch, not just mine's all the time. So,
nah, man, that's all super, super dope, man. I'm a big fan. Like I said, I tune in, catch the interviews, catch the shows when I can live, and you guys are doing good stuff, man. So I love to see it. So now let's get into your fandom. Right. So we learned on the last show that you were on that you are North Carolina born and bred, but you have a California home when it comes to your sports teams.
Yeah.
So let's start with your Lakers. Last night, your Lakers, what a shocker. No AD, no LeBron. Struder gets ejected during the game, and you guys still go out there and blow out the Nets. Like right now, how are you feeling with the Lakers? Are you confident that the Lakers can repeat? Are you a little nervous with the injuries? What are your feelings right now?
I'm not confident. This is the thing, and I think this is the biggest misconception. I'm not a LeBron fan. Like, most Lakers got their new Laker fan. Like, I've been a Laker fan since the 90s. You know what I mean? When we weren't really that good, right before we got Shaq and Kobe. So, for me, man, it's all about LA. It's all about championships. You know what I mean? But with us, man, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if we have what it takes to beat Brooklyn. I would like to see that series of both teams at full strength. But the major thing that concerns me is, and I think they somewhat did address that with Ben McLemore, but I think it's shooting. It's shooting, and I think we're going to miss what Rondo was giving us. Rondo wasn't playing a whole lot. He might have been playing 25 minutes, when it's all said and done. But it's just that leadership, that somebody that could take over the playmaking responsibilities when LeBron is not in the game, even when LeBron is in the game. Because if you look at it right now, LeBron, okay, when we're healthy, LeBron can make plays for other people. Outside of that, maybe Schroeder, maybe. Sometimes I've seen him look AD off, trying to get his own bucket. Yeah. So that's the one thing that concerns me. It's going to be, honestly, and I think this is the one thing that most Laker fans feared before LeBron got there, is it's going to be LeBron or bust. You know what I mean? Everything's going to have to run through LeBron. AD could get his when he wants to. But everything's got to go through LeBron, playmaking, scoring. I love the pickup of Drummond. I'm not a big fan of Kuzma, but I guess you could say he's just growing on me, I guess. But I don't know.
So are you concerned about anybody in the Western Conference? You mentioned the Nets. Is there anybody in the West that concerns you?
The Clippers concern me. They do. I'm not going to lie, because the biggest thing I said about them last year was they didn't have any, to me, this is just my opinion, who's their leader? Who do you think the Clippers leader is? I'm not the team this year, but last year. Who would you have said was their leader?
That's a good question. You'll probably have to say
Kawhi don't talk. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You say the coach. So, they kind of have the same issue to me that Boston has. Their top four players, none of them are really leaders, because, Kawhi doesn't talk. Paul George kind of seems like the same to me. Marcus Morris seemed like if he was a leader, he'd be trying to beat everybody up. and then Pat Bev does a whole lot of talking, but he does a whole lot of barking, shall I say, but he ain't biting. So for them, now you have Rondo, and I think those guys respect Rondo because Rondo has 2 championships, and they'll listen. And if you look at Kawhi, he's been most successful when he's had a true point guard, when he's had Tony Parker, when he's had Kyle Lowry. So they concern me. I also like the Boogie Cousins with them, and I like the Ibaka pickup. If you look at their team, they don't really have any holes. As far as if you look at them, they got shooters. They play defense when they want to. Now they got Cousins. You got Zubac. Zubac is very underrated. So you got the rebounder. Good. So now we don't really have that. Last year we just had them in size because we could get them to take when Zubac had to get a rest. We just bullied Marcus Morris and Patterson and
Jermichael Green last year, right?
Yeah, Jermichael Green. So we're just bullying all them guys. Yeah. So now when they, when Zubac goes out, you're not bullying DeMarcus Cousins, you're not bullying Serge Ibaka. So that would be the main concern for me. And if I had to go for another team that may be concerned, I'm not really. I think Denver can pose a lot of matchup issues with Aaron Gordon because they really got Aaron Gordon and didn't lose much. So I think those 2 teams I would be concerned about. Anybody else, I wouldn't be too concerned about.
Yeah, I was just about to mention Denver. They have been playing absolutely great since they've added Aaron Gordon. They're actually beating on the Celtics right now as we speak. They've been playing really, really good ball. And with them, Aaron Gordon gives them that defender, that wing defender that they were missing, right? They lost that when my guy went to Detroit. And he's balling in Detroit, but they ain't winning no games. But he's, adding to his value over there.
He hooping in Detroit. I actually wanted him to be an all-star, man. But like you said, they're not winning, so it's hard.
Yeah. If you're on a losing team, you really got to be doing some Bradley Beal type numbers to be, considered an all-star. But he's balling out there. But Aaron Gordon's been a perfect addition for this team. So I think Denver could be a legit threat. If Jamal Murray can find that bubble, Jamal Murray in the playoffs, It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be real dangerous.
See,
I don't know if that bubble was a
thing.
one-off, though.
I think you need. I like exactly what you said. Now I agree with you to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I feel like Michael Porter Jr. as well. You just need him to be. Since the All-Star break, I think he's averaging like 21 points. It's like he's averaging good numbers. You need him to be. If he could stay that consistent, Jamal Murray could pick it up a little bit. You already know what Yoke gonna do his thing. You already know what Yoke gonna do. But like you said, if he could do that, I could see them making it. I get tired of hearing about Utah, man. I don't believe in Utah. I'm not trying to be funny, but
yeah,
the people keep Utah. I'm like, dude, they do this every year. I wouldn't be surprised if Utah get put out in the first round. I'm not trying to be funny, but if Donovan Mitchell isn't going for 40 or 50, who else do they have on that team that can really consistently score? I know some people are going to say Clarkson, but we've seen how inefficient he could be in the playoffs. Yeah. And then you probably would say they didn't have Bogdanović last year, so I get that. I don't have any rebuttal for that, but I don't know. Your second best player just blocks shots and grabs rebounds, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, Utah plays awesome team ball, right? You see the highlights on Instagram. It's them passing the ball 7-8 times around. Somebody drives in, they kick it out. It's beautiful, right? But come playoff time, that's all going to be bogged down because teams are going to be playing better defense. They're going to know your sets. That's when you need the stars, right? And you asking Donovan Mitchell to do that against the Lakers, against the Clippers, even against the Suns, it's going to be tough because the Suns or other teams have other players who can score when everything else gets messed up. They have those players. Like when you talk about a quarterback, they have those players who can improvise and do it when the first play isn't there or the first read isn't there. So for me, I understand your concern about Utah. This year is a little different because they're playing so well this year. Like we haven't seen them be the number one seed in a really long time. It's like the Malone Stockton days pretty much. Yeah,
that's facts.
Yeah, so that would be the difference. But come playoff time, you may see them have the same fate as that Atlanta team from some years ago. If you remember the Atlanta team that had Al Horford and Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, Jeff Teague, they all made the All-Star game. They won 60 games, number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Playoff time, LeBron hit, they got swept. So you might see that type of thing happen with Utah.
I would be, and I know this might not happen. I'm not looking at the West standings right now. I don't know where New Orleans is sitting. I know you're a New Orleans fan. But
yeah, we had 11 or 12 right now.
Okay. If New Orleans could somehow get into that AFC, if I was Utah, I'd be scared.
Because we play Utah well.
I feel like because it would come down to Zion's been going crazy lately, and he's not getting enough credit for how good he is at such a young age. But you got two proven scorers, man, that can score, and then like Donovan Mitchell's going to have to go for 40 or 50. But I mean, we'll see. Like you said, playoff time, teams are going to take that three ball away. They're going to crowd that 3-point line. They're going to make you go to the basket and get twos, and I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely see that. Western Conference is definitely stacked, though, so it's going to be interesting come playoff time with them. But the Lakers, once they get LeBron and AD, I think still should be the favorites, but it's not going away in that type of way. So now let's get to the football field a little bit. You are a 49ers fan, and you guys made a big trade. You guys traded a lot to move up in the draft to the 3rd overall pick. And if you're only listening, you can't see him shaking his head right now. He is not a fan of that move. So why are you not a fan of the move to move up in the draft?
I hope they know something I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be like, I don't like to turn this into a black or white thing. But people keep talking about Justin Fields. I don't watch a whole lot of college football. I'll be the first person to say that.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the last time an Ohio State quarterback has came out and done good. It's
been a long time.
He's black. We want him to do good, but I don't remember I can't remember the last Ohio State quarterback that came out and did good in the NFL.
Yeah,
I could say the same thing for Alabama, but Tua, the book is still out on Tua, or however you want to say it, it's still out on Tua. But I don't want Mac Jones. I'm 50-50 on Justin Fields because I think he could play. But I don't know. I think the only sure quarterback is Trevor Lawrence, and we can't get him. So maybe they trade it up because because the way I'm looking at it is this: if you're going to take Mac Jones, we could have still got him at I think we were at 12.
I think so too.
We could have still got him at 12. I'm pretty sure we could have got him at 12, and if we couldn't have got him, we probably could have got Trey Lance. I'm pretty sure because I predict that. Well, I predict that the Jets will take a quarterback. Obviously, Jacksonville will take a quarterback. I think it's 50-50 on what Atlanta's going to do because of Matt Ryan's contract. So I think it's 50-50 on that. Outside of that, after them, most of those teams, the Bengals, a lot of those other teams that's in the early part of the draft, I'm not looking, that's not in front of me right now, but they all have quarterbacks. You know, the Bengals, you're not going to draft them quarterback. You just drafted your quarterback last year, Joe Burrow. So, only other team I think in there I remember that might take a quarterback is Denver, but I know they're real sold on who their quarterback is. I'm not sold on who their quarterback is. Yeah. But, other teams like Dallas, they're not going to take a quarterback. They'd be crazy to take a quarterback in the first round. New York, they got Daniel Jones. They're not going to take a quarterback. You know what I mean? So, Philly has Jalen Hurts. I don't think they would take a quarterback. So, to me, I don't know. I think we could have stayed where we was at, but maybe they're going to trade back down because I heard New England really wants to move up. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand your hesitation because my thing is you guys have, when healthy, a Super Bowl roster when healthy. Yeah. So to ask a rookie to come in and lead a team that has Super Bowl aspirations is really tough. You're putting a lot on a rookie quarterback to come in that situation.
But see, this is the thing. I think whoever we draft, he's not going to play.
So you think Jimmy G's going to start?
Yeah, I think the job is Jimmy G's to lose because, I mean, you have, like you said, you have and this is why I don't understand why we didn't try to get Matt Stafford, Deshaun Watson.
It's a whole that's a whole monster in itself.
It's crazy. So I can't even say nothing about that. But that's the thing that gets me. I'm like, dude, like we have never been this aggressive before. So I hope it's something y'all seen when y'all went to these pro days. And I trust our front office, but right now I'm looking at them like, all right, now don't mess this up, bro. Don't mess this up because we got like a small window before a lot of these young guys like Bosa and like these other guys are off their rookie contracts and need to start getting paid. Like, you know what I mean? So we got like a 2-year window to win this thing, which, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have faith in them until I can't, but we're gonna see.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that. I'm the same way with the Saints, right? Because with us, right now it's projected that Jameis is going to be the starter, and we all know what Jameis's issue is, right? Turns the ball away too much. But it's like, okay, Sean Payton has not given me a reason not to trust him. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I trust in Sean Payton. If he sees something in Jameis that I haven't seen, I trust him. I know Jameis got the arm talent. His arm talent is way beyond what Brees had these last couple of years. So the offense is going to be more open. If he can control the turnovers, we could be really good. That's the big thing, though. Can he control his turnovers? With San Francisco, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the draft. I did a video the other day talking about the Sam Darnold trade and the impact it's going to have in the draft. Because I agree with you. After you pass up San Francisco and for Atlanta, I don't think Atlanta's going to take a QB because the way Matt Ryan's contract is set up, it's going to be hard for them to get out of that contract for the next 2 years. Then after that, you got Cincinnati. 6, I believe, is Miami. They just said they believe in Tua. Yeah, Tua. So 7, Detroit. They just got Jared Goff. 8 is Carolina. They just got Sam Darnold. 9 is Denver. That's the one who could maybe take a quarterback.
I think they should. If you listen to John Lynch, take a quarterback. Take a quarterback.
I think they should too. I'm not a big believer in Drew Lock.
Dude you got ain't gonna get it done.
But Drew Lock is still young, and some people believe in him. He does have a monster arm. They may believe that he still can turn it around. So if Denver doesn't take one, you could see 2 QBs, whoever San Francisco doesn't take. So if it's Trey Lance and Justin Fields or Trey Lance and Mac Jones, whoever it is, could slide down. You could see them slide down to even maybe 19, 20 if there's no trades made for somebody to come back up and get them. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on draft night.
But see, that's the scary part, too, because if I'm who was I about to say? I can't even think of the team I was about to name. It was a team I was thinking about. I don't know if I would want him to drop down to New England, man, because but I mean they seem like they kind of invested in Cam for now. I think they went out and they spent that, everybody's saying they spent that stimmy on getting Cam some help, man. Even though one of the guys on my show, you don't think the help they got was good enough, but I'm like, bro, look at what they had last year and look at what they got now. It's way better than me. So I mean,
they definitely went out and spent a lot of money in free agency. They needed to get Cam some help because basically Cam was throwing to me and you last year. I'm
gonna be real. If I was in shape, he'd be lucky to have me out there because I think I might be a little better than some of the other guys if I was in shape. Honestly,
I can't even front and say I'm a basketball player, so I can't even front and say it. But yeah, but that's the thing with you give Cam some weapons. We saw what Cam could do, even when he didn't have the best weapons. The year he won MVP, he didn't have the best weapons.
See, and I feel like that's an argument for another show, man. Because I'm looking at it like this, man. If I'm looking at Cam, and I'm not even a real big Cam fan, but I'm like, dude, the best weapon you ever had is an old Steve Smith in a out of shape Kelvin Benjamin. So it's like, dude, like he hasn't had no DeAndre Hopkins. He ain't had no Tyreek Hill or no Kelsey. His next best weapon might be Greg Olson. Greg Olson, but he was kind of long in the tooth once Cam got there. So it's like his best weapon his last few years was Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it's really true. So Cam's not the most accurate. He's not going to be out there. He's not going to be Drew Brees. He's not going to complete 74% of his passes or whatever. But if you give him some weapons, you have to see what happens once that happens. So if they do give Cam a chance, rooting for Cam. But if they do draft a QB at 15, I would understand it, right? Because what you saw from Cam last year wasn't the best. So I understand if they would draft a QB and take a chance on a new QB there. So we're going to go ahead. And before we get to our break, man, I don't talk much baseball, but I know you're a big Dodgers fan. And the Dodgers right now they're expected to repeat as champions. So for my people out there who are baseball fans, what makes the Dodgers so good and why they expected to repeat as champions this year?
Nah, I'm going to be real. I ain't watching. I ain't watched baseball in a while, man. I do not know, but I know last time I watched it, man, that their bullpen is one of the big things for them, man. But I'm not gonna lie, I gotta do better with my baseball. I know as far as sports go, I am excited about us getting Hubert Davis, though. I'm a Carolina Tar Heel fan, so I am excited about us getting Hubert Davis, man. So
yeah, y'all just gotta keep Hubert Davis away from the microphone, man.
Yeah, that's about like Mike talking about what does he say? What the heck did Mike say? Something is in the ceiling, or the roof is the ceiling.
The roof is the ceiling.
Some dudes just need to coach and play and don't say much. But I think it's really interesting to see how it's going to play out. I know I was looking at the top recruits, man. We don't have a whole lot of them, so
yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know, man. I really, honestly, I would have preferred probably Stack, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. And the coach I really wanted, he done said some outlandish things too. So, as far as like with his not really outlandish to me, this, I guess his religion and his faith, a lot of teams I don't think would dig that.
What coach you talking about?
Mark Jackson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His faith and a lot of things he's said in the past, man. I think people hold it against him, which isn't fair, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I think Mark Jackson should definitely have a job. I don't know if he said something offensive to, Warriors and their, their general management team and the front office and all that stuff, which if that has happened, that can get, around the league in a quick way. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, no one wants to deal with that, or no one wants to go against, the Warriors guys if they find them cool, whatever. So, we look at, sports in like this kind of on this pedestal, but a lot of times their politics that go in their offices are just like with our regular jobs. Like it's, this person isn't cool with this person.
Seen what Magic said about the Lakers, man. Magic was telling everything. This person won't come into work. That person was like, when my man said, Kobe Age, I can't think his name right now, said
Rob
he won't said he won't come into work, say he won't ever there. I'm like, man, these all this, all this office politics, man. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's not that different from an office job outside of the people who do their job on the court because they're the best at what they do. But when it comes to the front office and all that stuff, man, it's just like an office job. So yeah, they're dealing with the same.
Make a whole lot more money than the majority of us do. So
exactly, yeah, it's just higher paid to deal with the BS that we deal with, right? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take our first break, give you a little DMX, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into our top 5 first rounds of all time in the NFL draft. Should be an interesting countdown. I'm glad I got my man Tiras Ray on because I know he knows his stuff. It's going to be interesting to see where we went with this one. I had a hard time. I'm not going to lie to you. It was tough. So we're going to see exactly.
You had a hard time. I had a harder time. Just saying.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our countdown. Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Hopefully you enjoyed that music break. A little DMX right there as we pay respect to the legend. So now it's time for us to get into our top 5 NFL first rounds of all time, an NFL draft. I got to find a way to frame it. Top 5 NFL draft first rounds of all time. That's a better way to say it. All right. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to let Tiras do his number 5. I'll do my number 5, then so on and so forth as we go through the countdown. So Tiras, what do you have, or what year do you have as your number 5 NFL first round of all time?
I'm going to say this real quick. Jason Ferrett. I know you old school. I love you. But you're going to kill me on this first one, man. I ain't have to go too far back. I went to 2017.
Oh.
And the reason being is, I know, it's no Hall of Famers yet. But you have a lot of guys, I think, that are somewhat, I guess you could say, I don't know, basketball, we say transcendent talents. I don't want to say that. But, this draft already has 11 guys that have made Pro Bowls. So I'm just going to name a few of the guys. Myles Garrett went number 1 in that draft. I think he's going to be – he's a great defensive end. I think he's going to be good. Mitchell Trubisky has made a Pro Bowl. I know some of y'all want to say, what the heck? But I mean,
that goes against your argument right there.
I mean, but he has made a Pro Bowl. But these other guys are like these other guys are like top 5 at the position already.
Okay.
Outside of him. But Myles Garrett, I feel like is the top 5 defensive end. If you just went strictly defensive ends, didn't include the outside linebackers that pass rush. But if you just went defense, I think you could say he's the top 5 defensive end. Jamal Adams. Might be one of the best safeties in the league right now. Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, a lot of people coming into last season, even though I thought that I can't think his name. I thought that Henry was better than him coming into the season. I think Christian McCaffrey might be the best all-around running back in all of football when healthy. Him and Alvin Kamara is, I guess it depends on what you could prefer. Patrick Mahomes, need I say any more about that? That guy. Marshawn Lattimore, pretty good corner from the Saints as well. Deshaun Watson, when healthy, I did my quarterback tiers a while back. So I think you can make an argument that he's in the top tier.
Yeah.
Of quarterbacks. Marlon Humphreys, who I think is a great corner for Baltimore. Evan Ingram, pretty good tight end, but he's made a Pro Bowl as well. Tre'Davious White, who I think is one of the best up-and-coming corners in the league right now, and T.J. Watt, who is another person. Just like I said, same thing I said about Myles Garrett. If you just went, pass rushing linebackers, I think he might be 2 or 3. The only person I can think of off the top of my head that might be better is Khalil Mack. But that's why I went. Like I said, I didn't go too far, man. But even if you go into the second round, there's a lot of talent there too as well. But
okay, no, that's a really good first round right there. You mentioned a lot of talent, not too many busts in that first round there. So I like that pick there of 2017. Now, for my number 5, I did go back a little bit farther. Not crazy, but a little bit farther back. I went to 1996 for my number 5. So you look at the 96 draft, first overall pick was Keyshawn Johnson that year. Keyshawn, first overall pick, probably not going to make the Hall of Fame, but definitely was a very good receiver for a very long time. Simeon Rice was in that draft.
Give me the dang ball.
Exactly. Simeon Rice was in that draft. Another very good, freakish athlete. Jonathan Ogden, he's in the argument for best all time at his position when you look at offensive linemen. Terry Glenn was in that draft. Another very good wide receiver. Eddie George was in that draft. Great running back. Congratulations to him. Tennessee State head coach, we found out today.
Okay.
Marvin Harrison was in that draft in the first round. Hall of Fame wide receiver. Eric Moulds, another very good wide receiver that lasted for a really long time. And then you cap off the first round with Ray Lewis, maybe the best middle linebacker of all time. So when you look at those notable players from the 96 draft, it's hard not to have them in your top 5 all time. So I got 1996 as my number 5. What do you have as your number 4?
Also, man, Jason Fairmount, he gonna get me, man. He might pull up on me. But I went 2004, man. And the reason being is, you have Eli Manning, Super Bowl winning quarterback, ultimate Pro Bowl. I think he could possibly get into the Hall of Fame. I think it's I don't know. Larry Fitzgerald, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers, another great quarterback of his time. He throughout most of his career, he was in the top 5. If it wasn't for probably Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, guys like that, you would be talking about Phillip Rivers. Sean Taylor, before he died, was probably one of the best safeties to play the game. Kellen Winslow, also multiple time, a few time Pro Bowler. I think I guess the injuries just caught up to him. I don't know about that, but he was pretty good in his time. D'Angelo Hall, one of the fastest 40 times ever recorded. Pretty good corner as well. Big Ben, I know it might be some question marks as to how good he really is. I think he's lucky to have played for the Pittsburgh Steelers all of his career. But, I mean, nevertheless, Big Ben has multiple Super Bowls. Jonathan Vilma was a great linebacker out of Miami, man. That Miami team he played on was probably one of the best Miami teams. Tommy Harris, great defensive tackle. Sean Andrews, offensive guard, is pretty good. Will Smith, that plays for your played for your Saints for the duration of his career. Vince Wilfork, pretty good nose tackle, played for a long time. Steven Jackson, when he was healthy, he was a top 5 running back in the league over his span of career. And then Jason Babin, also. So I think it was a pretty solid. It wasn't better than the one you just named, but I think it's a pretty solid class.
Now, 04 was definitely a good class. That's one that I kind of struggle with going back and forth. Should be in my top 5. People who know me know how I feel about Eli Manning. I call him the best average quarterback of all time. He's somebody who I think he will get in the Hall of Fame. Now, if I had a vote, I wouldn't vote him in.
You wouldn't vote him in?
But I think he will get in because of the moments he had. Like, I don't know. I think I sent you the video where I talked about the Hall of Fame shouldn't be called the Hall of Fame. It should be called the Hall of Greatness.
Yeah. You sent it to me. Yeah, I remember that. And that's a pretty good, interesting topic. Yeah. Not to jump off topic, but I think the NBA needs their own Hall of Fame because it's some of these guys they're getting in strictly off college and 4 or 5 good years in the NBA. I don't think that's fair, but that's just my opinion, though.
No, I definitely agree with you there. We'll veer off topic real quick. For me, people really got on me when Vlade Divac got in. And I went crazy. I'm like, Vlade Divac. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's terrible.
So I remember people are like, you don't know nothing about his international career. I'm like, first of all, it's not like he's Arvydas Sabonis. He came to the Lakers when he was like 20 years old. Let's not act like he had this career overseas that lasted for like 14 years and then came over here past his prime. We saw the best of Vlade Divac against the best players in the world, and he was a good role player.
Yeah, he's a good role player.
Yeah, he was never somebody who you thought of as like a Hall of Fame basketball player.
People get on me about Yao Ming, man. Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way. Like, he made some All-Star teams. They're not gonna give that. He probably had a good 5 seasons. Now I know when he was in China, he probably was the best player for 3 years, but that's tough because we can only really hear about overseas basketball until now. We don't see the games, so I don't know if he was really killing over. They say he was, you know what I mean, but I don't know.
I could imagine Yao was killing over there because when he was healthy, he was killing here. You know what I mean? At least he was a Hall of Fame talent. I get
what you're saying.
With Vlade, we never saw him that way. Like, we never saw Vlade Divac as that type of player.
No, I never seen him kill. No.
Yeah, so he was, like I said, he was a good role player. Somebody we was like, okay, good passer. He's known more for flopping than he is for being a great basketball player. So that was something that, and people, like I said, I made that video and people was like, you're Americans, you're so arrogant. Like all the people else from where he from. And I'm like, we saw him over here against the best of the best be a role player. Stop it. But yeah, that's my little tangent about the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I definitely agree. I think there should be an NBA Hall of Fame because the fact that Vlade Divac is in and Chris Webber isn't is just dumb. Just stupid. But to get to my number 4, I like your number 404. That's a good pick. But for my number 4, I'm going to go 2007. Right. So I'm going to bring it back to the new school a little bit. Some of these players are still in the league. So you had Cam go first overall, Von Miller, AJ Green, Patrick Peterson, several time All-Pro, on the downside of his career now, but great corner during this time. Julio Jones, I believe, is going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Alden Smith, I believe, is a Hall of Fame talent. He had his own demons where he won't live up to that potential.
Oh yeah. You know, I know.
Yeah.
I know, man. About him. Yeah.
Yeah. Alden Smith. Tyron Smith was in that draft. He's somebody who could get in the Hall of Fame one day if he can be healthy. J.J. Watt, he's first ballot. He's going to be in. Cam Jordan, still a very good defensive end for the Saints.
Yeah.
That first round was kind of stacked in 07, man. That was a really good one, so I had to put in 07 and number 4 there. So where you going with number 3?
Man, I'm stuck, man. And I actually had the 96 joint, man. But since you said it, I'm gonna go a different route, man. Okay. I'm gonna go, and this is just, I wouldn't say this one is that great. They probably, honestly, if I really rank them, it might be my 5th instead of my 3rd. So don't hold this against me. But this class has one of probably my favorite players of all time, man, Michael Vick. I'm not sure if he'll get into the Hall of Fame, but I know they do currently have 2 Hall of Famers, Steve Hutchinson, the guard used to be a guard for Seattle Seahawks, and LaDainian Thompson, LT. I mean, the second LT, not the first. We all know who the real LT is. But you had them, and like I said, both of them are. Vick, man, is somebody that, to me, he kind of changed the way we looked at running quarterbacks, because he's the first running quarterback, and you're like, wow. Like, I know Randall Cunningham and Steve Young were scramblers too, but it's like Vick I don't think they were nowhere near as fast as Michael Vick is. It's like he just brought a different element to the game, especially, I graduated from high school in 04, and he was pretty prevalent at the time. Everybody wanted to be like Vick, you know what I mean? So, Vick, his impact on the game is crazy. Leonard Davis, offensive guard. You had Richard Seymour, used to be a good defensive end for the New England Patriots. You also had Dan Morgan. I know he only played for 7 years, but Dan Morgan was a pretty good linebacker. Linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. I want to say it was him. He had like 20-something tackles in the Super Bowl against New England. I might be wrong. I might be right. I'm pretty sure somebody will message me and let me know. Santana Moss was pretty good at the time, man, coming out of Miami. Like I said, that Miami, them few years, that's when they were stacked, man.
Yeah.
You have Casey Hampton, pretty good D tackle. You have Deuce McAllister. A lot of people forgot about Deuce.
I say the Deuce is loose.
Yeah. I used to call him Deuce Bigelow. But Deuce, man. Deuce was that guy, man. You have Michael Bennett, was a real fast running back out of Wisconsin, man. I know he was real fast. You have Reggie Wayne, who I think should get in the Hall of Fame one day. Yeah, maybe not right now, but I think once the dust clear, I think he'll be in. Todd Heap was a great tight end. Was a pretty good tight end of his time. And I know we said first round, but this person was one pick out of the first round, Drew Brees. Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you say, man? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, man. You know what I mean? If you go into the second round, you got Chad Johnson, who I don't think he'll get in the Hall of Fame, but he's a Hall of Fame talent, like you said earlier.
Yeah. Now, that's a really good pick right there. 01 definitely is stacked. You think about Michael Vick. For me, I think Michael Vick was a less successful Allen Iverson when it comes to his impact on the league. Allen Iverson had that same type of impact in basketball where he brought the hip-hop culture to basketball. People wearing sleeves and getting tatted up, having braids, all because Allen Iverson brought that style and that swag to the league. And Allen Iverson, of course, is a Hall of Famer. I don't think Vick's going to get in, but Vick's impact is definitely major when it comes to the NFL and what he went through before and during his career. The fact that he came back from what he came back from to be comeback player of the year with the Eagles after all that. You got to give Michael Vick respect, man. So I like that pick right there. Now, for my number 3, I'm going a few years earlier, 1998. So you look at the 98 draft, first pick is Peyton Manning. Then a few picks later, you got Charles Woodson. Then you go down the line, you got a Hall of Fame guard in Alan Faneca. And then, for some reason, a guy named Randy Moss slipped down to the 21st pick in the draft. Also, during that draft, you got Fred Taylor and Takeo Spikes. So the fact that you have Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Randy Moss in the same round, I had to put them top three because Peyton Manning is my GOAT. I get a lot of flack for it. You mentioned Ashley earlier. She goes crazy when I say I don't have Tom Brady as my GOAT. But Peyton Manning is my GOAT. You have Randy Moss, who some people say is their GOAT as far as wide receiver. Now, it's tough to put him over Jerry Rice because Jerry Rice's numbers are just ridiculous.
I ain't gonna go there.
You can say what you got to say, man.
People, this is the thing that gets me. People with the Randy Moss. I like Randy Moss. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Randy Moss fan. Yeah. I don't got it. He can't touch Jerry. Nobody could touch Jerry in my eyes. Jerry is like Jordan. Yeah. I don't think nobody could touch him right now. But I just don't. I'm just trying to figure out how is Randy Moss so much better than Terrell Owens? Like that's the thing that gets me because Terrell Owens is 2 or 3 in every major statistical category. You know what I mean? And it's like only thing that Randy does better to me is the deep ball. I think he probably does that better than anybody ever. I don't know anybody ever that runs the 9 route. And he has a phrase named after him. You know what I'm saying? When somebody, my son and them said, and my son is 12. Oh, he got mossed. So, I get that. Randy might have had a bigger impact on the culture, but I just look at it from, I played football. I wasn't what these guys are. But, I just look at it from that point of view of, I look at Terrell Owens, and the only thing I can question about him is his attitude. The guy, just like Jerry Rice, brung it every play, and I think he learned that from Jerry Rice. Now, the other guy, on the other hand, Randy Moss, I play when I want to play. Different things like that, man. But, I can't knock anybody that has him second. Yeah. But I just feel it just me. This is my personal preference. I got Jerry, T.O., or Randy. I don't know who I have after that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some people throw Larry Fitzgerald in there in that conversation with those top 3. I've done several shows where we've done like our top 5 countdowns. I think the last time I did it, I had Jerry, T.O., Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, and Chris Carter as my top 5.
I keep forgetting about CC.
Yeah,
CC was a beast, man.
Nah, he was an absolute monster. He was tippy toes before tippy toes was a thing. Like that's what his sideline catches were legendary. But yeah, so for my number 3, I had 1998. What are your thoughts on the 98 draft?
My 98 draft sounds good, man. I mean, you got Peyton Manning. What can I say, man? Like he's like the first person, and I'm not saying he's the first person ever, but he's the first person I realized that's up there like, hey, this like are they even calling plays? This dude coaching at the line of scrimmage? Like he up there, blue this, red that, this, that, and the third. Nissan, you like, what the hell is he doing? He's changing the play, like he's changing the plays on the field, man. And it's like he has to. I always thought that he would make a good OC or a good head coach or just like I don't know, something in the NFL front office on the NFL coaching team. I thought he would be amazing at that, man, because it's just like he's like his football IQ is off the charts, man. Football, if your football IQ went from 0 to 100, his is like a 150.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and like you said, Charles Woodson, man, I think is the only defensive player to ever win a Heisman. Yeah. He even won he's even won a NFL MVP. So, yeah. I'm not NFL MVP, a defensive MVP. Player, I'm sorry. Yeah. Nah, Charles Woodson was a monster, man. And the thing is, he got a defensive player of the year later in his career. Later in his career. Yeah, so it wasn't even in his prime when he got that. So, yeah, that's a top draft. That's a tough draft to beat right there. But we do have a few ahead of those. What year do you have at number 3? I think I did number 3. I think I'm on number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on number 2. This draft, man, doesn't have a whole lot of. If you look overall, doesn't have a whole lot of talent. But when I tell you the people that's in it, you're gonna be like, okay. Troy Aikman. This is 1989 NFL draft. I'm getting closer to your time, Jason. All right. Don't get me. I'm getting closer to your time, though, bro. But I got Troy Aikman, man. What can I say, man? I mean, Super Bowls, you know, I mean, I don't know. He got overlooked a lot, I feel, because he played in a time with Joe Montana, Steve Young, Brett Favre, a lot of those guys. But Troy Aikman was a solid quarterback. There's nothing bad you can say about Troy Aikman. Barry Sanders, a lot of people might say he's the best running back of all time. You know, I can't fault you if you got him, if you got Sweetness. Like I said, I didn't really see Sweetness play. So, you know, but I think Barry Sanders is up there. If he's not one, he's definitely 2 or 3. But to play behind that bad offensive line, I mean, the dude probably would have broke the rushing record if he'd have played a little longer. He retired definitely. Like in his prime. He's one of the 2 Detroit Lions players that just retired in his prime.
Yeah.
Derek Thomas, one of the best outside linebacker / defensive ends, a great pass rusher, man. Deion Sanders, the GOAT at corner, in my opinion. I think he's the GOAT. A lot of people might say, I don't know who they might say, to be honest with you. They might say, you know, Redskin fans, they're going to say Daryl Green. Yeah. You know, you could say Charles Woodson, he's up there too. Champ Bailey's up there too, but I got Deion. I think Deion's the GOAT, man. He kind of changed the cornerback position to me because you don't really remember a whole lot of shutdown corners before him. And, like, you know, with the punt returning, with the kick returning, like Deion, wide receiver, he even played running back a little bit. So, you know, Deion was the man. And Steve Atwater, great safety that played for the Denver Broncos. And all five of those guys are Hall of Famers. You know, then you got a few other guys that were pretty good in that draft class that won a couple Pro Bowls. Andre Rison, who was a pretty good wide receiver at the time. You know, he's probably most famous for being on that show. What's the name of that show? But it's like when NFL players, all that money they were spending, because he's talking about how he buying all the rings,
yeah, the 30 for 30.
Yeah. He's probably most famous for that for the younger crowd. Yeah. Then you got Darnell Wolford, who's a pretty good cornerback, and you have Eric Metcalf. Man, I remember playing with him on what is it, Joe Montana? Some football game that Joe Montana had on Sega. I remember playing with him, and he's like one of the best. He was like one of the earlier best kick returners that you could think of, kick returners, punt returners.
Yeah. Nah, that's a really good pick. I got the same pick at number 2. So, yeah, with Aikman, you got to think about, you know, the fact that he got 3 Super Bowls. I'm not the biggest Aikman fan. I think he benefited a lot from playing on the Dallas Cowboys. And when you mention the fact that, you know, he got 3 Super Bowl championships and some people put him over other quarterbacks because of that, it's like, it's a team sport, bro.
Nah, you're right.
Yeah. So, you know, it's for me, like when people say, there's some people that will put Troy Aikman over Warren Moon. It's like, stop it, bro.
No. I mean, we could probably argue that Dallas Cowboys had, like, at their position, had 3 of the most overrated players of all time: Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and don't beat me up, Cowboy fans, and Troy Aikman. Because to me, Emmitt Smith, people will say he's the best running back of all time, but it's like, dude play behind the best offensive line of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and Michael Irvin, his numbers aren't even compatible to I'm trying to think of somebody. I don't even think Michael Irvin numbers are better than Brandon Marshall's if we went and looked at it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Michael Irvin, I believe, was great. Like, his career did get cut short with that neck injury he had in Philly. So I think Michael Irvin was great. Emmitt Smith definitely was great, but he's nowhere near a Barry Sanders, Sweetness, Jim Brown, Adrian Peterson even. Like,
I don't even think he's better than LT, to be honest with you. I think it's debatable.
It's debatable. The only thing is, I would put Emmitt Smith on the Mount Rushmore just because he has the record that I don't think that record is ever going to be broken. Excuse me. Yeah. Because the way running backs are used now, I don't see anybody having the longevity of being the guy on their team or even a guy on several teams for that long. The closest guy now who's active, I think Frank Gore officially retired, so the closest guy that's active now is Adrian Peterson, and he's not going to get the carries to get close enough to it. So I don't see anybody in history touching that record. So I think he will have his legacy there for that. But as far as the 89 draft, like I said, Aikman at 1, Barry Sanders, you mentioned, he's my GOAT at running back. Derek Thomas, like you said, one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, too bad his life and career got cut short. But, man, he was a monster. Deion Sanders, I agree with you, best cornerback of all time. He's in the argument for best punt returner of all time. Like, just crazy. And then the thing is, he could have been a really good receiver if he did it more often. Like when he got to Dallas and played receiver, he was really good. Like he just is a monster athlete at everything. Like you mentioned Andre Rison, known for, the Going Broke documentary, also known for getting his house burnt down. He has some.
I forgot about that. Oh man, I forgot about that joint. Whoa.
Yeah, rest in peace to Left Eye. Left Eye was a little crazy out here back in the day.
A little crazy.
Steve Atwater. Yeah, a lot of crazy. Steve Atwater, like you mentioned, one of the hardest hitters of all time. Known for one of the highlights that I remember are the first highlight. I think my dad showed me him hitting Christian Okoye, the running back that was known for just trucking people for the Chiefs at the time. Steve Atwater met him in the middle and just knocked him down like it was nothing. Like Steve Atwater he's a different type of player. That type of player that's known for that doesn't play today. Like isn't allowed to do that today.
Heck no. I forgot the dude name that used to do that all the time. They find my man so many times. He like, forget that. I can't remember his name, but he just probably retired. Well, not retired, but I don't hear about him no more.
You talking about Cam Chancellor?
Nah, I know Dante Whitner. Well, he called himself Dante Hittner. But it was another dude. He wasn't real popular, but I can't remember his name. But I know he got fined a lot. I'll probably think of his name when we off air or something.
Oh. So yeah, there's a few of that breed that, play today, but they can't do it like that, the way Steve Atwater did it. It no longer is that fear going across the middle like that anymore. So we both have the same number 2. All right. So for your number 1, what is your number 1 first round of all time in the NFL draft?
Now, this might be the only draft I picked that the players were drafted before I was born. But the 1983 NFL draft has that I know of. I could be wrong because I didn't go into you're gonna be mad, Jason, but I ain't going to the 50s and 60s. I didn't go that far. You know what I mean? Because I didn't see those guys play like that. No disrespect to those guys. I don't want none of them guys to run up on me in the street and beat me up. But I could just go off what I've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went to the 1983 draft, man. John Elway, early on in his career was known as, well, I wouldn't say a running quarterback, but he could run.
Yeah.
But John Elway, man, got 2 rings later on in his career. He would probably be in a lot of people's top 5 if you don't include the guys from today, such as not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady and guys like that. Eric Dickerson, who was a pretty good running back. I think he still holds the record for most yards in a game, if I'm not mistaken.
Or I think it's in the season. I think Adrian Peterson.
It's in the season, okay.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson took his record in the game.
Okay, in the game. But so I knew he had one of the record, but I think at one point in time he might have had both.
Yeah.
But Eric Dickerson, man, this class has I want to say 6 Hall of Famers.
Let's see.
7, my fault. 7.
Yeah, 7 Hall of Famers.
You also have a Jim Covert, offensive tackle for Pittsburgh. Well, not for Pittsburgh, for San Diego. And then you have Bruce Mathews, who's probably the greatest offensive tackle of all time. A lot of people would say. I know you said Jonathan Ogden later, but they're both kind of up there together. Jim Kelly, most famously known for getting to the young lady's house the most times, but not being able to go inside. Now this man getting to the Super Bowl the most times, but not being able to. We call that something else. But getting to the Super Bowl that many times in a row, what was it 3 years, 4 years in a row, and never
4 years.
Won?
Yeah,
him, Thurman Thomas.
He never could do the Tommy. He never could say he never could do the Tommy from Martin.
He can't say that. He got to the front porch and that was about it. But Dan Marino, man, probably a lot of people would say that he's probably the most talented quarterback ever. Dan Marino, a lot of people would say that. And then you got Daryl Green, man, who's probably the I think to me, the wide receiver in the corner position are the 2 positions, and probably outside linebacker with LT are probably the 3 positions that I can say that the person that's the best and is nobody even close to them. But I would say that Daryl Green will be in the top 5 of corners. I know he was the NFL's fastest man for 4 years. He's very underrated when it comes to being a corner, and you know what I mean. So,
nah, it's a really good pick. That's the same pick I have at number 1 as well. 1983. I don't think you could have another pick. Like when you look at that first round, you mentioned 7 Hall of Famers, John Elway. A lot of people having their top 5 all time in QBs. Eric Dickerson, top 5 running back of all time in a lot of people's books. You mentioned the two offensive linemen. Bruce Mathews was so good. His whole family treats NFL like a family business. Like everybody from the Mathews is in the NFL now. Yeah. It's like their local hardware store. Like they just treat it like that. You mentioned Jim Kelly, even though he could never, get past second base. He was somebody who had to be great to get to that step. Dan Marino, you mentioned, might be the most talented as far as arm talent, release time. He was a statue back there, but it didn't matter because he got rid of the ball so quickly and had such a good arm. And you mentioned Daryl Green. I just want to address, I made a mistake earlier. I said when I did number 4, I said 2007. I meant 2011 when I mentioned Cam, Von Miller, and all them. 2007 was on my honorable mentions, though, just to get on that real quick. That's probably why I made that slip. So 2007 is most known for Jamarcus Russell, right? But you look at that draft, you got Calvin Johnson, already in the Hall of Fame. Joe Thomas, going to be a Hall of Famer. He was a tackle on those horrible Browns teams for all those years, but he was the one bright spot. Adrian Peterson, Hall of Famer, our future Hall of Famer. Marshawn Lynch, I don't know if he's going to get in, but definitely real close to being a Hall of Famer. Darrelle Revis, I think will get in as a Hall of Famer. Joe Staley, you know about Joe Staley, great offensive lineman. Greg Olson was in that draft, and also your man Patrick Willis, also was 2007. So, 2007 was a great year. I had him as an honorable mention. So what's some of the others that you may have struggled with that you had maybe honorable mention?
I had 2014, and one of the guys on my show, he was like, man, really 2014? Like, that's too current. But I'm like, dude, you got Khalil Mack, who's probably the one of the best pass rushers who is, to me, probably the best pass rusher in the game right now. You got Javian Clowney, even though I think he's somewhat overrated, but I think he does much more than just get sacks. Yeah, he helps out in the run game a lot, and he's somebody you have to account for. But if you look at his sack total, he's not what's in it. And I know you mentioned Mathews earlier, but you have Jake Mathews in that draft. You have Mike Evans, who just played for the Super Bowl champs. You also have Odell Beckham Jr., who's probably a top talent that we've ever even seen. At the wide receiver position. I know the numbers don't say it, but he's, as far as that goes. You have Aaron Donald, who I think Aaron Donald might be the best defensive tackle I've ever seen, man. He's definitely probably pound for pound the strongest player in the NFL. Like, you just see him move offensive linemen. Yeah. Like it's nothing. You know what I mean? He's not that big of I can't say he's not that big of a guy. But compared
to other defensive linemen,
he's not. He's not that big of a guy. He's not like Vincent Wilfork or Tony Siragusa. Yeah, he's not 6'5", 350. So like some of these guys, you know what I mean? Ryan Shazier, we all know about him before the injuries. Before the neck injuries, or I think it's back. I want to say. Yeah, back. Zach Martin, one of the best offensive guards in the game. You also have and I know you might not like this person, but you got Teddy Bridgewater, who's pretty decent too as well, man.
No, he's decent. Yeah.
You got D Ford, who's a good pass rusher, and then you have one of my favorite corners in the league right now, Jason Ferrett. Even though I know he doesn't always perform like it, but I got shot my guy out, Jason Ferrett.
No, that's a good honorable mention right there. I had I had a whole list, man. I had to break it down to those 5 that I picked, but also I looked at 1980. You mentioned the original LT. He was in the 1980 first round. You had Kenny Easley and Ronnie Lott. So you think about the fact that Lawrence Taylor and Ronnie Lott were in the same round. You got to mention them. Also had, what year? 97 was an honorable mention. Orlando Pace, Tony Gonzalez, Walter Jones, Warwick Dunn, Sean Springs in the first round. I had 04 in my honorable mentions as well, the one that you mentioned. So please recap your list for the people.
I had at the end, I think I'm gonna switch it around. I had 2004. I want to say it was 2004.
Yeah, and 2004 is your number 5. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it. Okay, I'm gonna move it around. I got my fault. I got 2001 as my number 5.
Okay.
2017 is my number 4. Okay. 2004 is a 3 for me. 1989 is 2 for me. And then 1983 would be my number 1.
All right. No, that's a really solid list right there. For my top 5 NFL first rounds, I had number 5, 1996. Mentioned all the names in that one. Number 4, I had 2011. Number 3, 1998. number 2, 1989, and number 1, 1983. I feel like those first two have to be the first two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you go any other direction with those first two. Like you say, 83 had 7 Hall of Famers, and 89, out of those, even the first 5 picks, 4 of them were Hall of Famers, which is crazy. And then you add Steve Atwater on the back end. Nuts, man. I want to thank you so much for coming on this show, man. Really appreciate it. Please let the people know where they can find your show and where they can find you on social media.
All right. You can find me on Facebook, Tiras Ray, LinkedIn, Tiras Ray, Instagram, Todd Dollar, XXL, the real Todd Dollar. If the fake ones, no, I'm just messing with. But on Twitter, it's Ty Ray 910. And then on Instagram for the show, it's say what _ say it again. On YouTube, it's say what, say it again. And then on Facebook, it's say what, say it again. Also, I have a Clubhouse. I don't remember what it is if you want to hit me up on it. But I mean, I have everything, man. Like I say, and we streaming on YouTube. We stream on Facebook. And we also just started streaming on Blackjack TV. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but we got Blackjack TV I-95 network, man. So, we coming, man. We got some big things coming, man. So the next big thing for us is we're gonna do all our shows thus far have been virtual. So we all live in the same area. So we're gonna meet up. I got a studio, and we're gonna get it in, man. We're gonna see what we come out with. So.
Oh, that's dope, man. The times I've only gotten to do a few episodes face to face with people, right? Because I live in Arizona. A lot of people who do the sports podcast thing or sports radio thing are East Coast. So most of my guests, like you, are on East Coast time.
Yeah.
I ain't got the money to be flying people out. I ain't on that level yet. So
hey, let's manifest it though, bro. You will be one day, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell Ashley and. Shout out to Ashley Baker, man. Shout out to Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson, Fago, Franklin, Eric Wilson. I could never go on a show and not mention Eric Wilson, man, because those are like my, the last 3 are like the people that kind of really helped me out a lot, man. But I say that to say this, man. I always tell them y'all big time to me, and especially you, man. Y'all are big time to us that say what, say it again, man. And, anytime, I don't care what I got going on. If y'all hit me up and y'all want to do something, I'm going to move my schedule around to do something with y'all because y'all just that big time to me, man. You know what I mean? But, salute to y'all, man. And, keep doing y'all things, man. Tyler Butler, I see him doing his thing. I see a lot of people doing what they're doing, man. And it's inspiring to me, man. Like I say, I'm about to start school. So it's really inspiring to have worked with such great people at such a young point in my broadcasting and analyst or whatever you want to call it career, man. So,
Oh man, appreciate that a lot, man. Yes, all those people you mentioned, Ashley, get on this man's show. Why you about to say?
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. My guys, man, they keep asking me like, what's up with it? But Ashley, man, I mean, hey, I'm your biggest fan, Ashley. I'm just gonna say that. Even though you like Paul George and even though you keep talking about Paul George and Clippers, I'm still your biggest fan in spite of that. I just like her takes, man. I like the way she delivers. Same thing with you, man. I listen to what y'all say a lot, and I try to, outside of I Am Athlete. Because that's like only the big time show I watch. That's one of the few big time shows that I do watch. Outside of that, man, I try to watch you. I try to watch maybe not as much as I would like to, but I try to watch you. I try to see what Kelsey has going on because she always has big time interviews. I try to watch Ashley. I'm always checking out Eric and Alex Fleming, man. Of course, Raphael Haynes, 3-point conversion. I'm always checking him out. Big mouth Danny Thompson. I'm always checking him out as well, man. Even though he like to run his lips and always run his mouth talking about the Charlotte Hornets and what is it, the Falcons? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how are you talking junk about my team and you like the Falcons and the Charlotte Hornets? No disrespect to the Charlotte Hornets, by the way.
Nah, Danny Thompson is somebody who I have to shout out. Like, you give a shout out to people who have helped you out. Danny has definitely always been there, give me advice, and I've always looked at his writing when I'm going to get back to writing again, but when I was writing on a consistent basis, it's somebody who I look to him, Mike Patton, always look to his writing.
Mike. Shout out to Mike. My fault. Yeah. Shout out to Mike.
Yeah, Mike Patton's always supporting. He's definitely somebody always listening and sharing. He'll hit me up before. Sometimes I'll put the show on iTunes and everything before I even share it on social media. He'll hit me up. Like, oh, good show. And I'm like, dang, I ain't even share it yet.
Bro, Mike is Mike is everywhere, man. Like, I don't even know Mike, but I love Mike because, you know, he just everywhere, man. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to my guys, man, because they really do support me, man. Like, they make it easy for me to be able to go do Damian's show, do this show, do that show, do this, do this. And, so shout out to my guys, Avery, Chuck and James, man. Love y'all guys, man. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, man. And like I say, man, we'll find out who won Battleground Saturday, man, I guess.
Yeah, so if you haven't, go back and listen to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Me and Tiras went against each other. I didn't even know who I was going against.
I mean, I don't know if it's a secret or something, but I was trying to figure out too. Like, I'm like, yo, who I go up against, because I couldn't remember who won the round after me. So I'm like, man, who I go against? But I was like, man, I was gonna come in here, and then when I get on, they say Damian. It's like my heart was like, you know what I mean? And it's nothing. It's not that I'm scared or nothing like that, but it's like I respect. You know what I mean? It's like, you playing we all play sports, so it's like you playing against somebody you admire and you look up to. So it's like, wow. But at the same time, I'm always trying to bring it if I'm going against you or if I'm going against a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try and bring it, man. You know what I mean? Because I just don't represent me. I represent say it again. You know what I'm saying? So.
Nah, definitely. You definitely brought it, man. It was a good battle. So I need y'all to go ahead and listen to the show and let Mr. Controversy, Raphael, know who won the battle, so we'll see. Like I said, it was a really good battle. And I'm just still got a bone to pick with him about not asking me no boxing questions. I won 2018 is the year I won it, and I've been doing it since then. So the fact that this is my now third or fourth year doing it, I ain't never get a boxing question. Like, come on, Raphael. You could have gave me a boxing question in there. But that's my guy, though. He taught me a lot in this game as well. I've been a guest on the 3-Point Conversion, wrote for the 3-Point Conversion, covered the Phoenix Mercury out here. So, like, my experience of being in the locker room is due to Raphael. Yeah. So, I have a lot of thanks to give to him as well.
Shout out to Raphael, man, because like I say, man, he's the first person that when I was able to cover the Super Bowl, Fago allowed me to be able to do it, cover it with him, man. But he's the first person I heard like asking the question. I'm like, oh, I know that guy that's asking the question. You know what I mean? So that was kind of cool for me. And one thing I want to say about Battleground is people don't realize how hard it is. I think people, because my guys, I'm a big church goer. So when I go to church, my guys they get on me. Why you didn't say this? Why you didn't say that? That's what you thought of? I'm like, dude, you got to understand. When they're asking you the questions, right? That's really the only time you got to think of an answer, because I already heard them say on the other shows, like, oh, if the people take 30 seconds, we know they're looking up stuff or this and that. So, even if I'm not ready, I'm going to be like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard, bro. Like, and then what was one of the questions that they asked? I'm trying to think. And I was just like, how does he come up with that? Oh, not the Phoenix Suns.
Was it the football one?
Oh, yeah, bro. I can't remember every team that didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a really tough one.
Yeah, with the Brian. Like, I'm like, yo, that's because I know for sure you got me on that one. I was just like,
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it so 100 with you right now. Like, I didn't know what I was going. I'm glad I picked you first, because if you would have picked me first, I was done. And when you said Arizona, I was like, oh, Miami. And I was like, that's what it came to me. But if I
told my guy, he said, you had all them options, and that's what you picked. I said, bro.
Yeah, you can't think about all the playoff teams in the last 30 years, bro.
And I'm like, your brain freezes up because you got so much content in your head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then and then even people think it's going second is an advantage. It's really not, because like on the Phoenix Sun question. I had to base because I had Amari Stoudemire on my joint. But when you said Amari, I said, oh, Find somebody else, bro. And you can't have two people that played on the same team. So the obvious answer would have been Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. But it's not easy, bro. And like they say, man, you can't come on there and fake it through that show. You really got to know your stuff, man.
Yeah, no, you have
really
to.
do.
And like, there's been some bad ones. Like people got stuck and they got embarrassed. Like,
dude, I went against in the first on my first joint. He said, what did he say? He said Michael Thomas. Named two players that played for the Portland Trailblazers from 1990. I think one of them he said Michael Thomas, and they was like, dude, Michael Thomas did not play for the. They let him go. You know what I'm saying? Give his ass. He dressed it up. He dressed it up real nice now. At the end, it was like Michael Thomas didn't play for the. He's like, huh? You made it sound good though, but you know
that's makes it even worse though, because you got some people like they might not know that particular answer, but they real good at the broadcasting part. They're gonna dress it up real nice. It's gonna be a burger with no patty. But they got all the lettuce, tomatoes. They got all the dressing on it, but ain't no patty on the burger. So yeah, that's be the worst part sometimes. Like, and that's why I was so mad with the boxing question, because last week, and it's no disrespect to Alex Fleming and Alex Strofe. They both know their sports. Like their sports knowledge is crazy, but they obviously don't watch boxing like that. So he asked them the boxing question. It was name a perfect matchup between two boxers from 1990 till now who haven't fought each other. So it could be from different generations. And one dude said Muhammad Ali. And I was like, yo.
1990?
Yeah, since 1990 till now, he said Muhammad Ali versus Manny Pacquiao. So not only did he pick Muhammad Ali, who, last fought, if you want to even, be nice about it, his last fight was in the 80s. Yeah, his last fight was in the 80s.
Probably really 70s, though.
Yeah, really 70s if you want to be, realistic about it. But then he said versus Manny Pacquiao. So you got a heavyweight versus somebody who's like 147. So I was so mad about. I'm like, bro, you could.
And then what was Alex Fleming answer? You remember?
He said Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roy Jones Jr. Right? Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray didn't box in the 90s, did he?
He had two fights in the 90s, but both was like money grabs. Like one was in 91, one was in 97.
Oh, come on, man. That's like saying. That's like when we asked the Phoenix Suns questions, us saying Penny or something like that. Even though he played for Phoenix, Penny was washed when he got there.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be somebody would have picked Shaq.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
You said that, but like you said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of cheating the system, man.
Yeah, definitely. But it was a great battle. So go ahead and support the 3-point conversion, not only the show, the Sports Lounge, but the 3pointconversion.com. They have a great team of writers. And I'm going to get back into writing. I might go ahead and rejoin the squad, see if I can cover the Phoenix Mercury again this year so I can get back to writing. Because podcasting is my passion. But I like writing too, but podcasting is where I feel more free.
That's the weak spot I got, man. I can't write worth a dang, man. You know what I mean? Like I wrote something. I wrote something before, man. It was. I mean, I need some work. It's something I'm gonna work on. But like I tell people, when you vote on Battlegrounds, don't vote for me because you like me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Vote for me because you think my answers were better than Damian's or vice versa. Like we want the best person to win because don't put me up on a pedestal and I get to the next round and get smacked up. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like I could tell my homies, like, man, vote for who y'all think really won, bro. Like I don't. If I lose, like I came into this, I didn't even really know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just asked, so I was tagged in there by somebody. Yeah. I put the little eyes in there and then they hit me up. I'm not gonna duck no smoke. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when he initially wanted to start the tournament, he had me on do like a practice run against somebody just to like.
I heard that. I heard
just to give an example of it.
Promo video they used.
Yeah, so even that one was hard. I had to shake the rust off, and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I did this practice run because this is a little rough." So yeah, the Battlegrounds is something to check out, man. So thank you to everybody that we gave a shout out to today that help us out and inspire us to do our jobs or to do this well, and to make it our jobs. So. Make sure you follow me at The Real Deal WDA on all social media platforms. Make sure you rate and review this podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give this podcast a 5-star rating. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. And I definitely will read your review on the show and show you the love that you show me. Share this podcast if you're listening on any other platform. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm just starting to do the full episodes on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please share it from there as well. And until next time, go real. or go home.